your girl Adeola. I cannot even believe that we're back to this hijab crisis story.
In Kwara State, Muslims and Christians are asking the state government and security operatives to fish out and prosecute perpetrators of a violent attack which led to the death of one Habib Idris in front of Baptist High School.
Another hijab crisis happened in another part of the state, this time around in a city called Ijagbo. Ladies and gentlemen, Muslims and Christians clashed at a Baptist secondary school in Ijagbo, again over the issue of girls wearing hijab. A Muslim guy was killed that day in Ijagbo. Let me say first of all that if you're a Muslim, you know that the hijab is sacred to Muslims. It's just like the kippah that Jewish people put on their head. I'm sure you've seen them. So we're talking about schools that were owned by churches, but since the 70s, the government has been giving them grants, giving them aid to help them pay workers' salary and so on and so forth. But the agreement at that time is that the schools are still the proprietors and they still control the dress code, among other things. We did a whole video about Christians in Kwara State, in Ilorin precisely, asking the government to return their schools to them in March of last year. The link to that video is in the description. Please watch it if you are yet to. Now, in this issue of Ijagbo hijab crisis, all parties involved are to be blamed, and you will see why I will capitalize on blaming especially Mr. Governor. Now, let me talk about why I blame the Christians. The government of Kwara State had released a memo recently that the Muslim girls should be allowed to wear hijab to school. And it is this memo that the parents of the Muslim girls are going by. As a matter of fact, these Muslim parents, they printed out this memo. They took it to the school to show them that, look, the government says our girls should be allowed to wear hijab. So, instead of the Christians preventing the Muslim girls from going to school in their hijab, I believe that the Christians were supposed to go and meet with the government that released the memo. Your fight is with the government, not with the Muslim parents. As a matter of fact, the Muslims, when their daughters were not allowed to go to these schools, the Muslims traveled to Ilorin, the capital, at the government house to tell them that our daughters are not being allowed to wear the hijab according to the memo released by the governor. Now, what I don't know is whether or not the Christians also traveled to the government house to discuss this memo, which obviously the Christians don't agree with. I tried to confirm this, but I wasn't able to. I reached out to a number of people. They were not picking up their phones. So your fight shouldn't have been with the parents of the Muslim girls or the Muslim community that wanted their girls to wear hijab. You should have taken your fight to the government house. And if the government would not listen to you, take the government to court. If they win at the state court, take them to the federal high court. If they win there, take them to the Supreme Court. If the government wins there, then take the government to The Hague. Take them to the United Nations International Court of Justice. I mean, how far are you willing to go? I'm talking to Christians now. How far are you willing to go to get your schools back from the government? So that is where I blame the Christians. And I also blame the Muslims, the Muslim parents. So from what we found out later, the people that went to attack that day were some jihadists that came and that were shouting, no hijab, no school. So this person that was shot was actually shot by this jihadist. The moment this jihadist came, the Muslim parents were supposed to say, hey, we don't want you guys here. This is an internal thing. Because those jihadists came from outside of Ijagbo, outside of your town. The moment they came, you should have united with the Christians that were there to protect your community, to protect the school in your community. You should not allow the jihadists to hijack your protest or the protest of the Christians. You should have stopped them. And above all, I blame the government. I blame the governor. Let me list the reasons why I blame the governor. Actually, let's start with some of the good things the governor has done so they won't say that I'm an enemy of progress. And no, I'm not paid to talk about the good things he's doing so that people will know that I'm not an enemy of progress, okay? But when we need to tell ourselves the truth, we must do what? We must tell ourselves the truth. Now, the man has been doing some amazing job in appointing a lot of women in his cabinet. You guys can look it up. That's incredible. As a matter of fact, in December of last year, the first lady of Kwara State, who is very beautiful by the way, as in just check us my mother, in case you are watching, Mrs. Oluwafolake Abdurazak. The woman held a women's conference with all the governor's wife in Nigeria in attendance. Some of them sent representatives. They called it cracking the glass ceiling, just to promote equal representation of women in Kwara State. That's incredible. Also, remember the story of the women that contributed money in that village in Kwara State, and they built a school for their children, just the women, which I talked about on this show. Well, the governor went to that village. He completed the school that these women were building. He even built them more classrooms, and he refunded the money that that they had contributed, gave it back to these women. I mean, that is commendable. But you know, it's really hard to talk about the good things that the governor is doing because of how he's handling crisis in his state, especially religious crisis. And in case you are watching, my father, the governor of Kwara State, the people that surround you, all those people around you, they don't want you for good. Whoever is advising you, Your Excellency, to ignore the crises that are happening in your state, telling you it will disappear, people will soon forget. It's a lie. Those people are enemies of what? They are enemies of progress, Your Excellency. For a governor that used to live in America, we had high expectations. You know the right thing. Nobody should be telling you the right thing to do. Why are you not doing it? First of all, the riots that happened in Ilorin last year, when some thugs beat up Christian leaders, you guys remember we talked about it? My father did not condemn what happened. You guys remember, for a whole week he did not say anything. He only tweeted about it after we spoke on phone, when I said, my father, you must to condemn what is happening. Do you guys know that till today, nobody was arrested over that matter? Nobody was charged to court. All the people that vandalized buildings, they all got away scot-free. Why should that be? That was in March of last year. Guess what? In October, this video surfaced of some Muslim students at a Muslim school in Kwara State where they were being beaten allegedly for drinking alcohol at a party outside of school premises after school hours. How does that make sense? And then we found out they were not even drinking alcohol, but even if they were, that was outside of school premises. This video went viral. Even outside of Nigeria, it was trending. People were circulating it. Even Muslim clerics outside of Kwara State, they were condemning this act left and right. Guess who was quiet the entire time? My father. They got Mr. Gomina, in case you're watching. You were quiet. One now, one more lama. One say one boss setting so you. And you did the Gomina. And then they said the Kwara State government suspended the head of the school and set up a committee. Can you guys imagine? So you needed a committee to tell you that this was wrong. The devil is a liar. As the governor, he was supposed to say something, or at least tweet about it. This happened. We're taking necessary steps. Say that. Was anybody arrested after that? But you know, since he did not condemn the first hijab crisis in Ilorin, guess what? Another hijab crisis happened in another part of the state. This time around in a city called Ijagbo. A Muslim guy was killed. Now, this story went viral as well. If you won't say anything when Christians were being injured in Ilorin, my father, this time around, a Muslim man was killed. And he still did not say anything. I don't understand. You know, this happened on the 3rd of February. What is today's date? It's been weeks, my people. Up till now, if you go on the governor's Twitter page, Facebook page, Instagram, nothing. He has not said anything about it. And he didn't go on television, even in Kwara State, to say something about what happened. And you cannot go there and address the religious leaders, all the elderly people there, like, we cannot be killing ourselves because of this. How many people have to die before you will end all this religious crisis? Is this how the crisis will now be going from city to city in Kwara State? My father. My deepest condolences to the family of the young man that was killed in Ijagbo. I can't even imagine what his family are going through right now. It shouldn't be at all. Finally, after 3 weeks, the Kwara State government said that they set up a committee of a panel to look into the matter. And you know, I still don't understand all these committees that we like to set up in Nigeria. I don't know, it's like a convenience way of not dealing with issues. Why do we have police if we are setting up committee for everything? And why should it take 3 weeks for you to set up a committee? And above all, that still does not replace the place of the governor going there to address this issue or just making a public statement to condemn what happened. Now, let me talk to the Christians in Ilorin especially. Please move closer in case you are watching me. Is it true that the governor gave you guys some money after the hijab crisis in Ilorin? I heard that the governor met with Christian leaders after that crisis and asked them to send a price for the damages done to their buildings. So Khan allegedly collected this money, but some churches refused to collect their own share of the money from Khan. Some collected the money, some did not. I know that Baptist Church did not collect. I know that Equa Church did not collect. All the churches in Ilorin that don't have schools also did not collect. If you're wondering why this upsets me, like for real, a governor did not publicly denounce what happened to you guys or let the Muslims in Ilorin know that it's not okay to attack the Christians or throw stones at them. But this same governor now called you behind and gave you money for damages. If he had condemned it and announced that, you know what, he would be giving money to the churches for them to fix the buildings that were affected, that's a different case. But he did not. No, he shouldn't have given you money directly. First of all, he was supposed to condemn it publicly and announce that the government will fix the damaged buildings and do that, which is why why it's been almost a year since that incident happened, the hijab crisis in Ilorin, and the governor has not gotten back to them about returning their schools to them. But guess what? They cannot say anything because they did what? They collected money. Well, some of them collected money. Second of all, the Kwara state government is now planning on renaming the Christian schools in order to officially make them public schools. The government's argument in wanting to now rename the schools is that, well, Christians, even though they own these schools, they will not be able to pay the teachers' salaries, they will not be able to pay the pensions. I think that's ridiculous. My stand is, this is not for the government to decide. You cannot decide that they will not be able to afford to pay their teachers. There are so many private schools that are thriving and surviving without the government's input. You can't just assume that they will fail. At least let us see them fail. And then you can be justified in taking over their school. Your Excellency, you know that so many of these schools are located inside church premises. Because it's not fair. Especially because you know that the Muslims would want to build mosques at the school premises if it is a public school. Please watch the first video for details on that. Don't think that I'm making something up. So it's like you want to continue with the religious crisis. You want mosques and churches in the same compound. Enough already. Please give the schools back to the Christians. Give the Muslim schools back to the Muslims. And stop keeping quiet when crises are going on. Why should it take you weeks to condemn the obvious? Haba! Please know that the governor is not a fanatic. I'm not trying to paint him as a fanatic or an enemy of progress. By the way, for those who may not know, his wife is a Christian. Benny, that beautiful madam, Auntie Falaka, you know, do well. So his wife is a Christian. So he definitely tolerates other religions. I just don't know why it's hard for him to publicly stand by what is right. If tomorrow, though, the man decides to do the right thing, if tomorrow the governor decides to do the right thing, I'll be on this show to talk about it. I know elections are coming. Don't worry. Don't be so concerned with wanting to be re-elected that you will now not do the right thing. Let the government use this money, the grant that they've been given, let the government use that to start other public schools. Kwara State obviously needs more public schools. If Kwara State government has more public schools, all this wouldn't be happening. So instead of taking Christian schools and turning them into public schools, build more public schools. And more importantly, why are we not focusing on the reason why these students are going to these schools in the first place? Isn't it because of education? Are they going there because of dressing? So I feel like we should focus on that. Focus on the education that they are there for instead of religion and dressing. It looks to me like it is the parents that are more concerned about dressing. If you ask these kids, many of them probably don't even care about the dressing. So I think that we have a misplaced priority on this issue. We're focusing too much on the dressing instead of why these kids are there in the first place. Now to the people of Kwara State, you know, the world is really moving on. In case you guys don't know, the world is more than Ilorin, Ijagbo. People are developing their states with all kinds of innovations. Now you will see people driving electric cars. Electric cars made in Ilorin. How many electric cars do you have in Kwara State? People are making robots. Robots are serving food. In fact, people are going to the moon. How many people from Kwara State have been to the moon? For God's sake, you are supposed to unite and demand for better living standards. Instead, you are seeing each other as enemies. But in any case, you guys not doing anything. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Moving on to Cameroon, ladies and gentlemen. So your president, Biya, celebrated his 89th birthday on the 13th of this month. And Cameroonians, you did not even tell your girl. Say what? You didn't even invite me. Hapa. Can you imagine? Anyway, happy birthday, Ojare. So His Excellency, in case the man is watching, 89, my father and my God. They had a huge party like that in Yaoundé, the capital, with more than 2,500 young people at the sports complex. I was like, what? But you know, I was surprised to hear that the president, the celebrant Gogo, did not show up at his own birthday party. The man was not there. I said the devil is a liar. He apparently sent a representative to his own birthday party. Cameroonians, where is your president? Is everything okay? Because I'm just asking out of concern so we know exactly how to pray. Huh? Oh, he celebrated in the abroad. I forgot. The man spent 6 months or so abroad and then comes back to Cameroon. He's got an absentee president. This event was organized by the Cameroonian government. But since they knew that he was abroad, why did the Cameroonian government organize this event? I don't get it. His representative, that is Ferdinand Ungo, the Secretary General of Cameroon's presidency, said that the president was delighted that young Cameroonians gathered to show how much they love him. He said that young Cameroonians love the president. I was like, wow, is this true, young Cameroonians? You must really love your Let me see the love in the comment section. Anyway, although we also heard that everybody that showed up that day at that sports complex was paid $5. Is it true? I said, haba. Do you really love your president, or you went there because of what? $5. I was talking with a Cameroonian friend of mine, and then I mentioned to him that they paid people $5. He said, that is a step up, or that is an upgrade, because in the past they would just give people sardines and bread. To show up. In any case, the representative that went there on behalf of the president made a statement that day that I'm still scratching my head about. He said that other nations envy Cameroon because of Paul Biya's exceptional leadership qualities. Wow! That is to say the rest of us were jealous of Cameroon because of your president. Cameroonians, the devil is a liar. And you know, I cannot believe that they didn't just celebrate in Yaoundé. They celebrated in different parts of the country, even though the man was not in the country. Everywhere they were celebrating the man's 89th birthday. Anyway, jokes aside, just to keep it real with the president, in case the man is watching, 89 is a very good time to retire. I mean, just between me and you, I would suggest, it's just a suggestion. You know, in fact, it's being due. You should have retired. You should have stepped down a long time ago, since 1982. You want to die there in 40 years, and it doesn't look like this man is ready to step down. 40 years in power. Meanwhile, a Cameroonian pastor, I don't know if you guys have heard, is now saying that he's seeing vision, and that the next president of Cameroon will be a what? A footballer. Cameroonians, let us hear from you guys about about this matter. Happy birthday once again to His Excellency. Please step down. You don't do 40 years. You don't do. You guys not do no much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. So before I leave, huge congratulations to all the viewers that joined me for the live show that I did on January 24th with Grace Ofure, the founder of Lifecard International, a real estate company. Oh, shit! For those of you that joined and keyed into that investment opportunity that she announced that day, Sprint Estate, please move closer. I'm happy to tell you that your land has appreciated. Woo! Father. Let me tell you the prices that she announced that day that people keyed into and what they are right now. The 300 square meter that time, 4.2 million, is now 5.7 million. The 450 square meter that was 6.8 million is now 8.6 million. And the 500 square meter that was 7.2 million is now 9.6 million. And the 600 square meter that was 8.6 million that day is now 11.5 million. Now, I'm sure many of you are wondering, what the heck? What happened? How is this real? Let me tell you, it's 3 reasons. Number 1, after our live show that day and people bought the land, after all of that, Punch newspaper and other major newspapers in Nigeria published the CFO of this land, alerting a lot of people, more people, to the authenticity of the CEO of that estate. So guess what? The price of land in that area in general skyrocketed. Secondly, I'm always telling you guys about her land sales before she launches so that you are able to get the pre-launch price. She sells the pre-launch price to investors, people that are trying to make money off of it, not just people that want to build. On my show, she will announce like 2 weeks prior on my show so that you can make money if you're trying to invest. And so she did that, and now it's past the pre-launch time, which leads me to number 3 of why the price went up. The location, which is why she's now selling at the same price that other people in that area are selling. You know, they are building a new airport. I'm sure you guys are aware it's in Lagos. And this estate, the Sprint Estate, is located at Ibeju-Lekki by the new Lagos airport before Alaro City by Lekki-Epe Expressway. So it's very close to the new airport that they are building. And then it's a Lagos state government scheme. In its neighborhood, they have the Deep Seaport, the Dangote Refinery, the Pan-African University Campus, the Lekki International Airport, like I mentioned, the Lekki Free Trade Zone, and so on and so forth. And of course, the title that you get is the government allocated CFO. So that's why the price went up. So congratulations. I just want to congratulate those that invested that time. If anybody is still interested, it's not too late. Because believe it or not, because of the location of this land, because of the location of this estate, the price will only continue to go up. So you can still buy, even though the price has now changed, you can still buy. Just for this month, she's still doing the 15% discount. 10% discount plus my 5% discount that she gives to you guys. But that is for anybody that is willing willing to make full payment within 3 months, of course, she lets you pay up to 12 months. But if you pay within 3 months, you can still get 15% discount with the new price. No, don't go and tell her that I announced that with the old price they will get. No, with the new price. And of course, you can actually pay up to 12 months if you don't have everything within 3 months. But with that, you only get 10% discount. It's still better than nothing. If you tell her that you're from Adeola, please keep in mind, once again, this discount, the 15% if you pay within 3 months and the 10% if you pay up to 12 months, is just for anybody that decides to contact them in this month of February and make some kind of payments this month of February. Just for those people. After that, the price will go up again. Congratulations again to those that bought already. So happy for you guys. Alright guys, don't forget to click the thumbs up if you have enjoyed this video. Share it on your Facebook, Twitter, and your Instagram. Alright, y'all, it's been real and I'm keeping you right up in here. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, I'm watching you on Plasma TV. Press the subscribe button and the bell button. Until next time, I'm gonna see you all later. Peace out.